I accidentally fell into a pickle barrel. I never imagined I'd be trapped there for 100 years. Then one day, two boys opened the barrel by chance, and I finally saw daylight again. Somehow, I became a medical miracle. When I learned my wife had passed away long ago, it broke my heart. After a DNA test, the doctors found my only living relative, my great-grandson, Ben. The moment I met him, I was overwhelmed. But once I left the hospital, I realized I didn't belong in this world anymore. Everything felt like it came from the future. Ben took me home and even invited me to live with him. At first, I was grateful, but the more I got to know him, the more I felt we were strangers. He never wanted to talk about family. What hurt me most was finding my wife's grave. It had been neglected for years. A giant billboard stood beside it, blocking out the sunlight. Seeing how she had been forgotten brought me to tears. In a fit of anger, I got into a fight with the workers replacing the billboard. I ended up in jail, and worse, I dragged Ben down with me. The incident destroyed everything he had worked for. He had spent 5 years developing a software project. Success was finally within reach. Then, the deal fell apart because of the arrest record. After that, Ben completely lost patience with me. I knew I had made a terrible mistake. So I suggested something simple. Let's make pickles together. He laughed at the idea and said my wife would be ashamed of me. That was the last straw. I told him I'd build a pickle empire on my own. The problem was, I didn't even have enough money to buy cucumbers. Then I noticed something. People throw away perfectly good food. So I started digging through trash bins. I found cucumbers, I found jars, and I started over in a public park. That's how my first batch of pickles was born. To my surprise, people loved them. A blogger posted a video about my pickles, and business exploded. More and more customers showed up. For the first time, I made real money. Then, everything fell apart again. Ben reported my operation to the health department. The city shut me down and handed me a massive fine. Overnight, I lost everything. Just when I thought it was over, someone told me about interns, young people willing to work for experience. So I recruited a team. They handled the health standards. I focused on making pickles. Before long, the business was back and bigger than ever. Eventually, I earned enough money to buy the billboard next to my wife's grave. At last, the sunlight returned, and so did her peace. In that moment, I finally kept the promise I had made 100 years ago.